Good one.
It was the groovy. I quite like this picture.
Two bad boys.
Bad boys.
This was hanging loose.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Oh, that one too?
Yeah. All right. It's, what time is it? 10:24?
Okay.
I think we can.
Yeah, we can.
I think we can roll.
Morning, welcome to a secret location here in Harare where we're hosting Ali Campbell from UB40. Everybody's familiar with the band UB40. 70 million
Record sales.
right around the world, 50 hits, and been doing this since 1978. Ali Campbell, welcome to Capitalk 100.4 FM and Star FM Zimbabwe.
It's great to be here back in Africa, where, of course, we all come from.
Your fourth time back in Zim.
Yeah, we love it here. We absolutely love it here. And I only ever feel grounded when I'm in Africa. I fly around the world and have done for 40 years, you know. And I remember the first time we went to Australia and we watched the water going down the plug the wrong way. And since that day, I haven't felt properly grounded, you know. But then when the first time we came to celebrate Zimbabwe's independence in '82, we went to Motopos, and I've never felt so grounded ever in my life, you know. And each time I come back to Africa, I feel this is where I belong.
You supported the struggle for independence for Zimbabwe and also the apartheid struggle, anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa.
Yeah, we upheld the cultural boycott that was happening in England until Mr. Mandela was released, and then we came. And we left our first record company because there was a song on our first album called Burden of Shame, which was about how we felt about South Africa, what was happening there. And the record company took that particular track off when they released it in South Africa. So that's why we left them for doing that and started our own record label, you know. So we were quite serious about all our, you know, commitments and stuff. And so as soon as Madiba was released, we've been coming back to South Africa ever since.
Now, the band was formed in 1978.
79.
79?
Yeah.
It's a long time ago in Birmingham. But why reggae music? Why did you go to reggae music other than other forms of music?
You just said it because we came from Birmingham in England.
Yeah.
So I grew up, all my friends were West Indian or Jamaican, or Arabic and Indian. The first wave of Jamaican immigrants that came over on Windrush in the 50s, so their kids were the people that I grew up with, you know. So I grew up listening to reggae as it was evolving. It went from ska when I was a little kid to rocksteady when I was a little bit bigger, and then it became reggae in about 1968, so I was 9 years old or whatever. So I think that's one of the secrets to our longevity, is because we chose reggae. It was the youngest reggae in the world at the time. You know, it was only 11 years old. So it hadn't outlived its own cool yet, you know, and people still today love reggae, you know. It's not seen as old-fashioned. There's old-fashioned styles of reggae, you know. But if you look at the influence reggae's had on contemporary music, it's enormous. The way that producers produce records is like a dub. It's like dub. All the modern music that we're listening to, all the dance music, you know, is heavily influenced by dub. Dub comes from reggae. Rap wouldn't happen if it wasn't for reggae. You know?
A lot of our younger listeners who are listening to us right now would not know what UB40 stands for, Unemployment Benefit Form 40. Why did you choose that name?
We were unemployed.
Were you collecting UB40?
We were collectively unemployed, we were sort of the disenfranchised youth of Thatcher's Britain, if you like. We were thrown out of school at 15 and we remained unemployed for the next 3 years. To get your social security money, you had to have a UB40 form. So we all had one of those, so it makes sense to call ourselves UB40. And our first album.
Did you continue collecting after you formed the band?
Well, no. What we did was our first album was a copy of that.
Yes.
Form.
Yeah.
And
With a yellow background.
Yeah, we had to have it franked so that you couldn't send it through the post because it was an exact copy of the UB form. But it was called Signing Off.
Yeah.
Because, you know, after we'd made an album and we got a deal, we could sign off the dole. And that was us signing off.
How did you form the band?
We were a gang already, you know. We weren't, committing crimes or anything.
Oh, really?
We were a group of kids who lived in a ghetto called Borsal Heath in England, and we had a rough time of it. I was living on £7.90, which is about £15 now, you know, a week, and I had to pay my rent and the food and get everything else out of that. So it was hard times, and we listened to reggae all the time. We grew up listening to reggae. As I said, all my friends were the sons of the first immigrants to come over, and daughters, and so we all loved reggae. We decided, why don't we get a band together? We've got nothing else to do, we're all unemployed. I'd been hit in the face with a glass when I was 17. I was hit in a bar fight. I shouldn't have been in the pub, I was only 17, I was underage. So anyway, I was hit in the face with a beer glass and lost the sight of my left eye and had 90 stitches in my face. And my older brother, David at the time, was a legal executive who was working for Lord Gifford, who was an anarchist judge, as it happens. But he put in for criminal injuries compensation. So 2 years later, I didn't know anything about it. A cheque came through the door for £4,500. We were living on £7.90 a week, you know what I mean? So it was like £4.5 million, you know what I mean? So, Providence, the money came in and I went and bought all the equipment for our fledgling band, Of course, I bought all obsolete, ridiculous equipment because I didn't know what to buy, but we muddled through, and that's how we started the band.
Wow.
With the compensation money.
Wow. Don't you have a video where somebody hits you with a glass? One of your old videos. Is it for Red Red Wine, maybe?
It's in Red Red Wine.
It's in Red Red Wine?
Yeah. There's stills of me drinking a glass. It's a black and white film.
It's a black and white, yeah.
The red wine in a glass, but I don't hit myself in the face or anything.
You mentioned to us earlier you've performed all over the world, Ali. Outside of Africa, where else has it been memorable for you?
We're very lucky because we started off touring the world, So up until COVID, we were in America every year. I'd do an English tour and European tour every year. We'd also be in Australia and New Zealand. And next year, hopefully, we're going to be doing South Pacific tour. So we played places like Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands and Rarotonga and Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, all those places, And when you go to those far out places, those islanders are really loyal. So when we go to play, say, in Las Vegas or on the West Coast in America, half of the audience is Polynesian, because they support us because we've been to their islands. So we can actually tour for the whole year if we wanted to, all around the world, because we're lucky that we've got that, a worldwide platform.
Worldwide, yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think it's not so much because of UB40, it's because of reggae, because reggae is a unifying music, and the same like-minded people all over the world love reggae, It's a strugglers' music and a sufferers' music as well.
All right, let's talk about Ali the Man. We'll come back to the band just now. Ali the Man, 8 children.
Yeah.
All grown up.
Yeah.
Any grandchildren?
Yeah.
4 grandchildren.
Yeah.
And you're still doing that?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you mean I can still get it up.
Stop.
Oh, sorry, listeners. Excuse me, listeners. I didn't mean that.
That made me laugh. Maybe we'll delete that part. Maybe we'll delete that part in the interview. But 8 children.
If you did, who knows? Let's see what happens.
What do your children do?
Lots of different things. Yeah, there's lots of different things. They're like the United Colours of Benetton, black, white, all different colours. And I've got a daughter who's working in Hollywood at the moment for Tom Ford, the clothes designer.
Wow.
She's working out there on Sunset. I've got a boy working on a ticketing site up in Liverpool, Jack. I've got 4 of them live still in Birmingham, you know, my daughters as well. And they're just normal people who do normal things. You know.
Okay. I saw that there's Ali Jr. there. Is he into music as well?
They're all into music,
Oh.
but not really my music. You
Okay,
know.
okay.
It was funny because I did a show with Joe Mercer Marley, bless him, just before he passed. He came and supported me in Florida, and I said, "Would you like to come on and do, you know, one of the Bob Marley songs that I used to do in this? Join me on stage to do it." And he went, "Which song?" And I said, "Keep on Moving," you know. And he went, "Well, you know, Ali, I don't really like my grandfather music." No, he didn't say I don't like it. He says I don't know it. You know? And of course, I wasn't thinking. You know, of course he doesn't sing his granddad's music. Does he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my kids love what's happening now. You know, they love modern reggae and they like dance music and stuff. You know, I mean they're all right with what I do. You know? And they love reggae. They all love reggae.
Outside of reggae, what other music do you listen to?
Well, I grew up on a Jackson 5. You know, I was I'm the same age as Michael. So, you know, I had J5 on my back. I went to see the Jackson 5 when I was 14, I think it was, in the Birmingham Odeon. And I screamed louder than any of the girls in that audience, you know what I mean? It was one of the best things. I actually got to speak to Tito a couple of days ago.
Really?
We were playing in England, yeah. And we played a festival, and the Jacksons, who were my absolute heroes growing up as a little kid, you know. Yeah, the Jacksons played a couple of days before us, so I got talking to their manager, and I was telling him how much I owed to the Jackson 5, you know, and how much I loved Michael and everything. And he got Tito on the phone and says, "Yeah, have a word with Tito." So I was there with Tito Jackson. Yeah, what's up, blood? You know what I mean? Which I was really happy about.
Did he know who you were?
Yeah, he said he loved reggae same way. So
Yeah.
I was really, really chuffed because one of the reasons I ever picked up a guitar was because of Tito Jackson, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the show tonight, first time in many years that you're back in Zim. You're performing at Old Arians. You're performing alongside some local acts. What's in your sets? New music, old music?
Well, I'd be giving it all away, wouldn't I? I always do, and I have done now for a long time, a greatest hit set.
Yeah.
Because we had 40 top 20 hits,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And, the album, the Labour of Love albums, we sold 21 million of, you know. So,
21 million?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're the songs that we use because they're the ones that people know. You know, there's no point in rocking up and playing new stuff that nobody's heard yet, or songs that didn't sell. You know what I mean? So I do a greatest hit, so everyone will know the songs that we're doing if they like UB40. You know.
Okay. Have you got any new music you've been working on?
Just before Astro passed, we were in Jamaica with the lovely Sly Dunbar. I finished an album there called Unprecedented, and that was the last album we made before Astro passed.
Okay.
Which is 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing the title track Unprecedented tonight, but mostly songs that everyone will know and remember, you know.
Yeah. From the original members of the band UB40, how many are still around? How many are you still in touch with? And how is the passing of people like Astro, whom I'm sure you're close to, how's that affected you?
Oh, that losing Astro, it's a hole that will never be filled, you know. But that's life, you know. There comes a point when life stops giving and starts taking, you know. And I think I've reached that point. You know, we lost the wonderful Robbie Shakespeare, the greatest bass player that ever lived, and one of my best friends. I lost him at the same time, and they're both irreplaceable for me. But you know, life goes on. There are 2 UB40s out there. There's my UB40, which did have me, Astro, and Mickey in. Mickey left a couple of years ago because of personal reasons. So the old guys, the dark side, as I call them, they've lost Brian Travers, the sax player. So they've lost me, they've lost Mickey and Astro. So they're not. They're half of what used to be UB40, and I'm UB40 with the lead singer in, you know. So there's two UB40s. That can't be bad. But obviously, one's better than the other.
Your brother Robin still in the
Dark side.
In the dark side?
Yeah, he's still in the dark side. Yeah.
But when you left UB40,
Yeah.
the dark one, and formed the new light one,
UB40.
your eldest brother Duncan became the lead singer?
Yeah, he was 10 months older than me,
Okay.
and very strangely, I was having problems with the management, and I couldn't get information that I wanted. So I used to go to Duncan and moan to him, you know. We were close, and I was saying, I can't get information from the management, blah, 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 moaning. And so Duncan advised me, he says, why don't you down tools? Stop singing with the band, and then they'll have to, you know, stop and listen to you and give you the information that you're asking for. So I took his advice, and I went in and I down tools, and the next thing I knew, he joined. So there's brotherly love for you, right?
Did you stay in touch?
No.
Never spoke to him again after that?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. And then, you know, I've since found out that Robin was in, my other brother Robin in the band, was in the room with him when he was talking to me on the phone about giving up and all that. So it was, you know, there was some weird plan going on before I decided that I was going to stop.
So, sounds like they wanted to push you out.
Well, there was some skullduggery.
Yeah.
And I wasn't actually prepared to put up with what was going on with the management, you know. So I just said, I'm out of here then. I wanted to promote, I'd just released a solo album that had gone in at number 9. So I'd asked for a month to promote my solo album, which I'd made a solo album before called Big Love in the 90s. But I didn't promote that because I wasn't thinking of leaving the band or anything. I just wanted to put out a solo album, you know.
Yeah.
So the rest of the band went, "You're crazy. You should promote it." I went, "Well, I don't want to. You know, I don't want to promote it really. It's just it's a side project, you know." So when I did it again, and the album went in at number 9, I says, "Well, this time I'll promote it, like you know, you all suggested."
Yeah.
And they says, "You can't. We won't let you. You know, it'll have an impact on what we're trying to do and all that." So, you know, there's a very strange decisions being made. So I decided I'd leave, you know.
Now, you've been in the music business for a long, long time. There are people listening right now who probably want to enter the business. What should they watch out for? What are things to look out for?
The business has changed so much, you know, in the last, well, almost by year it's changing, you know. So I am not in a position to give advice, you know. I'm trying to adapt to downloads and all that streaming and all that stuff, just like everyone else, you know. And I don't fully understand, you know.
But you had problems with management, as an example.
Well, I'm with Bill Kirbishley now, who's Trinifold, who manages the Who, and he used to do Led Zeppelin and people like that.
Right.
So I've got one of the best managers in the world now, you know. So I'm happy with him.
Yeah, but what makes the best man? What makes a really good manager in music, in the music business?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? You know, there's so much luck involved, you know, and serendipity, if you like. You know, doors opening and closing, sliding doors. You know, you'll make the wrong decision, which could affect everything, or you make the right decision, it could affect everything. And I think it's each individual act is its own, you know, project really. So I don't know what a good manager is.
Okay.
I know I've got one now though.
Out of all the music you did with UB40, I'm sure you've been asked this question several times by several people. Out of all the music you've done with UB40, which is your favorite?
Well, I've made 32 albums.
Whoa.
You know, so I can't remember a lot of them. What I was doing, me and my wife, before I came to Africa, we were in my kitchen and we were listening through to right from the beginning, because I'm going to try and get an anthology together for Universal Records. So, I mean, it's been so long and there's been so many different styles that we've attempted and stuff that, you know, I can't have a favourite. I like the I'm happy with the stuff I've done since leaving the original
Yeah.
band, you know.
Yeah.
I've made 9 albums or whatever, 8 albums. So I think my anthology will be like mostly half of the new stuff that I've done, you know. But yeah, we started off we didn't know how to play our instruments when we started. So we literally learned in a basement. We put on a record called Cross the Border by Sly and Robbie and Gregory Isaacs. And we picked out, right, that's the drums, so that's the bass, and that, you know. So we literally sort of learned parrot fashion from one record until we could play like the record, and we were, so that's good. So then we did our first album. So what we'd learned up till then in 6 months, from learning to play the instruments to the album coming out, that was all we had, you know, signing off. And then the next album was what we learned after that, you know. So it's like we've been learning in public. So obviously when we started, we were trying something but we weren't getting there. And then we've got better, more proficient at what we do, or we're closer to what we want to sound like now than I think, you know.
You've done a lot of collaborations. I mean, the biggest hit for UB40 was "I Got You, Babe."
Well, with Chrissy Hynde.
With Chrissy Hynde. Who are the other more memorable collaborations that you've?
One of my favourite ones, which will make the anthology, is with Smokey Robinson.
Smokey Robinson.
Yeah,
wow.
I did a cover of The Wailers' "Hallelujah Time," and Smokey was playing in the Royal Albert Hall. Phoned him up and said, would he be interested in, you know, duetting with me? And he came along, and he was delightful, you know. He was, I think he's 69 years old at the time, you know.
Wow.
And he just played the Royal Albert Hall the night before, and he was on his way to Holland to play that night. And he came to Manchester where I was recording and did a duet with me. And I love that one. Hallelujah Time, it's called.
No, great stuff. And the future for Ali Campbell and for Ali Campbell and UB40?
Well, we'll be out and about again next year and the year after that, I suppose, you know. Like I said, we're doing a South Pacific tour. I want to get back to I haven't been to America for a couple of years now, but we normally do East and West Coast there. I'd like to do another European tour next year. Just more of the same, you know. I've made a few little surprise projects with some surprise people that I can't really talk about because they haven't been released yet, or one of them's going in a movie. So there's lots of little projects that are happening, you know, and here we are. We're still here, still in it to win it.
Oh. Well, look forward to watching you perform tonight.
Yeah, can't wait.
I need you to look into that camera and just say, I'm Ali Campbell, you're listening to Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's Heartbeat.
Hi, I'm Ali Campbell, you're listening to Capital 104.
100.4.
Hi, you're listening to Ali Campbell. Okay. Are you listening or watching?
Well, both.
All right. Hi, I'm Ali Campbell. You're listening to Capital 104.
100.4 FM.
100.4.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Ali Campbell. You're listening to Capital
100. We're gonna go with all these takes.
100.4.
100.4.
Hi, I'm Ali Campbell. You're listening to Capital 100.4 FM.
Harare's Heartbeat.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ali Campbell. You're listening to Capital 104. Oh, fucking hell. What was that? What was the number again? Capital
100.4 FM.
Hi, I'm Ali Campbell. They're all talking in the background a bit.
That's all right. It's ambient noise. It's fine.
100.4.
100.4 FM.
Hi, I'm Ali Campbell. You're listening to Capital 100.4 FM, the heart of Harare. Big love.
That'll do. Thank you, Ali. Thank you. Thank you, my man. Thank you. We'll see you tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will. I'll be there. Oops.
All right. How was that, Mike? Eh?